Hey guys, this is your boy Jakey Boy, and in a few days, the greatest sporting event of all time begins.
Jakey, the Olympics, they've already started.
I'm not talking about the Olympics, I'm talking about the English Premier League. Now this video is going to be a preview of the English Premier League and... What's that? What? No, I won't be biased. I know I'm wearing this, but I won't... You want to take it off? Fine. Fair enough. It's only fair. I don't want to be biased in this video. Anyways, this video is going to be a preview... Oh, shit. Sorry. As I was saying, this video is going to be a preview of the 2016-2017 season of the English Premier League. Really? Oh, for God's sakes. English top, better. I'm going to go through each team in this video in alphabetical order, starting with Arsenal, and we will finish with West Ham. And yeah, I'm going to go through each team, look at the managers, star players, how I think they're going to do, just a quick roundup really. And then I think I'm going to make another video, because this is going to get quite lengthy. I'm going to make another video of my predictions from 20th to 1st, which team I think is going to finish where. That was the most un-English sentence I've ever heard in my life. I may as well have gone... But yes, I'm a Tottenham supporter. I will try not to be biased in this video or in any upcoming English Premier League videos that I make. I hope you enjoy, and let's get on to Arsenal right now. Now, I know I'm a Tottenham supporter, but I said I'm not going to be biased. I'll try my hardest not to be biased in this video. I want it to be like an even playing field, set my mind. Fuck, I don't even know what I'm saying. But as you can see, this is the Arsenal screen that I have made. And the manager, Arsene Wenger, he's been really under fire recently, the past couple of years, because Arsenal haven't really been progressing. You know, they always end up finishing 4th, apart from last season where they finished 2nd. Crazy events towards the end of last season. But Arsene Wenger, you know, he's been really under fire. He's known to not really spend much of the transfer budget that he's given, and he's not really known to buy many players. But they, of course, their home is called the Emirates, and lovely ground. But their star player is a player they brought in a couple of years ago, Alexis Sanchez. Crazy player. He got best player in the Copa America, the number 17 for Arsenal, one of their better players last season. I think he's going to be absolutely outstanding. And their best new signing is Granit Xhaka, the Borussia Mönchengladbach Swiss international. He signed on for about £30 million. Quite a good signing. Central midfielder. He did skew with his penalty in the Euros, but you know, he said he's real confident for the season coming up, and yeah, I think he'll have a good season. He'll fit in well with that Arsenal side. So as I said, last year they finished 2nd, and so that means this year they do have Champions League football. Next up, we have Bournemouth. Now, last season, Bournemouth finished 16th place, so they don't have any European competitions to worry about. Their manager is still Eddie Howe, the young man. He's just a very energetic young manager, and I'm sure Bournemouth will be happy he's managed to keep them up last season, and I'm sure they're happy to continue forward with Eddie Howe. Of course, they play at the Vitality Stadium, and their star player, the young gun, the winger, Max Gradel, he is so quick, and I just really enjoy watching him play. He's crazy winger. Great description, Jay. And of course, their best signing that they got over the transfer window is Emerson Hyndman, the USA international. They got him for free, actually, from Fulham. Quite a good snatch up there. You know, he's very young, very highly rated. You know, people have been talking about him for a long time now, about being one of the better central midfielders for the future. But yeah, I'm sure Bournemouth will be very happy with that capture. Next up, we have Burnley. They got relegated 2 seasons ago. Then they won the championship last season, so they got automatically promoted. No Europe for them, obviously, but Sean Dyche is still remains the manager for Burnley. Of course, they call Turf Moor their home ground, and the young gun, Andre Gray, I've selected as their key player. 23 goals in the championship last season. He's an absolute gum. He's a gun up front. I think he's going to be electric in the Premier League. I think he'll love it. He'll thrive on the Premier League and he'll just keep on scoring. The signing of the transfer window is a £2.5 million deal from Charlton Athletic for Gundermanson. Did I pronounce that right? I don't know. Icelandic names, you know, they all end in son, but they're all really hard to say. He played well in the Euros, so he got his move to the Premier League from Charlton Athletic. But yeah, I think Burnley, they're looking pretty hot this season. Next we have Chelsea FC, the London club. Very disappointing season last season. They finished 10th in the end, and that was with quite a strong finish to the season as well. The last couple of games they played absolutely brilliantly. But 10th last season for a team that really were... What was it, 2-3 seasons ago, they were looking to go undefeated the whole season. Come on, guys. Chelsea, I know they will be absolute fire this season. They'll want to strike back. They need to, just for the sake of their club. And of course, a new manager steps in, and it's Antonio Conte. He will step in to manage the team at Stamford Bridge in London. And their key player, for me, is Eden Hazard. Now, he did not have a good season last season. It took him, 35 games for him to score in the Premier League last season. Not good considering you were classified as one of the top players in the world. The Belgium international, who definitely want to dismiss any negative comments that were made about him last season. But he definitely played well towards the end of last season. That goal he scored against Tottenham actually to level up the game and made us not win the Premier League and let Leicester win. That goal he scored, top corner, it was absolute class. I can't deny it. Very pissed off when that went in, but what can you do? And he played pretty decently in the Euros as well, so he'll be looking to have a very good season. And their signing of the season is, of course, N'Golo Kante, the French international from Leicester City. Roughly about £29 million, and he'll just sit in that midfield. I'm guessing it's going to be Kante and Matic in that midfield, and Fabregas. You know, that midfield three just working together, and it's looking like a pretty good Chelsea squad, especially now that Cuadrado is back from Juventus. And of course, because Chelsea finished 10th last season, they have no European commitments, so they will be delighted with just a free run of the Premier League, unless, of course, they go for a cup run, which they tend to do. Crystal Palace. Now, this is another London club, and I have to say, Alan Pardew, he is the boss, he is the manager. I absolutely love this guy, one of my favourite managers in football. I reckon he's absolutely hilarious. And of course they play at Selhurst Park, and last year they finished 15th, so no European football for them this season. So I think they'll probably be trying to aim for definitely top half, maybe even a Europa League finish at the end of this season. But I've highlighted their key player, and as much as I wanted to highlight it as Mile Jednak, the fellow Australian, I've had to go with Yohan Cabaye, an absolute class of a player. You know, he's played for PSG before. Newcastle United, he was absolutely brilliant. So he's definitely a key player for them in the central of midfield. He is 30 years old now, so he's getting a little bit on, but you know, he can just control the play and completely manipulate a game, turn it on its head, and just... Now, the key signing I have highlighted is Andros Townsend. Oh my god, my voice just then. Of course, the former Tottenham boy, the right winger, played for Newcastle United for half a season, and then, of course, they got relegated, and he is Premier League quality, so he's just like, nah, I'm getting out of Newcastle right now. And so he signed for Crystal Palace over the transfer window, and it was roughly a £13 million for the Englishman. And yeah, I think Palace will be delighted with that sign. Now we've got Everton, who had quite a disappointing season, considering the season before that they finished 6th or 5th? They did get Europa League, and they had a good season that season. But last season, finishing 11th, they've got no European commitments this season. And they've got Ronald Koeman now as the manager, and I really, really like Koeman as a manager. You know, he, of course, managed Southampton, where he was very successful, brought that club up to one of the better clubs in England, actually. And of course, they play at Goodison Park. That is their home. Nice, tight ground. And their star player, you have to highlight as Romelu Lukaku. He's really just a beast up front, and Chelsea are trying to get him back now because he used to play at Chelsea. Everton bought him. Chelsea are trying to get him back, and I think that going to go like 65, 70 million, or that's the rumours at least, for Romelu Lukaku, the Belgium striker. And he's young, he's big, he's good, he scores goals. What more can you want from a striker? Now, they didn't make much signings, but they did sign Idrissa Gueye. Now, I really struggle with that name. I struggle with a lot of names in football, but Gueye is he signed from Aston Villa. Everton ended up paying the release clause, which is 7.1 million. The Senegal international winger, I don't know if he'll fit into the Everton side. I'm not sure how that's all going to work, but I'm keen to see him because last season, no one at Aston Villa performed. No one at all. And I think I used to really highly rate Gueye. No swearing. I didn't swear. But yeah, I used to really rate this guy. And now that he's back in the Premier League, or back in a squad that can actually play proper football, you know, he might actually advance and play really well. Next, we have Hull City, who of course won the playoffs last season in the Championship after finishing 4th. So they did go up to the Premier League. Mike Phelan will be their boss for the season, well, at least for the start of the season. It's really unsure around the Hull City management side right now. They do call the KCOM or KCOM Stadium their home, of course. And star player, you know, as much as I wanted to say Tom Huddleston, Jake Livermore, Michael Dawson, you know, former Tottenham boys, I have gone with Sam Clucas, who is a winger, and he's very well known in my Adelaide Adventures save. If you haven't seen it, check it out. Yeah, Football Manager. I need a plug. Wait, I actually have a plug. Plug. There's your plug. Plug in. Gone for the video. I've highlighted him as their best player. I just think he'll just love the Premier League. I think he'll play really well. One of the, I don't want to say underdogs, but, you know, one of the lesser known players, but he's young, he's a winger, and his hair matches the club, so I think he'll just get on fine in the Premier League. Now, the best signing over the transfer is Will Mannion, from AFC Wimbledon. Words mixed up there. He's a goalkeeper, and not sure about the fee, not sure about how much they signed him for, but yeah, I'm sure they'll be happy to bring him in. He's very young, very talented goalkeeper. And now we have champions, or reigning champions, Leicester City. They did it last season. They did the impossible, and they'll be looking to do a back-to-back again. As unlikely as it seems, you know, it was very unlikely that they were going to win last season. I'm sure they'll be hoping to do it again. Manager Claudio Ranieri will want to do it again at the King Power Stadium. They had an absolutely amazing season last season. There's no denying that. As much as, you know, I'm a Tottenham fan and I want to go, oh, they won 1-0 every game, it's fucking unfair. They certainly deserved it. They played absolutely brilliantly. And really, they just pounced on when other teams really didn't perform, like Chelsea, Manchester United, Man City, you know. And they fully deserve it. There's no taking away from them. And one of the key players last season, and I think he'll be a key player this season, is Riyad Mahrez, the right midfielder. Absolutely brilliant. You know, Jamie Vardy, of course, one of the best strikers in the Premier League last season, and now being called up to the England national team. You know, he was contention for the key player, but I think Mahrez is just brilliant. You know, he's very small, very skinny. He's like a twig, but he just manages to fucking do it somehow. I don't know. And just watching him play is absolutely mesmerizing. So I think he will definitely be one of the key players of the season. Now, the signing of the season is Ahmad Musa from CSKA Moscow, the Nigerian forward, for £16 million roughly. And pre-season friendlies, especially against Barca, he got subbed on in the 65th minute or something, scored instantly, and then got his brace in the end against Barcelona. He looked brilliant. Both goals were absolutely, especially the first one, he just went on a run. And when I first heard the signing, I thought well, you've got Vardy already, who's kind of like that, a really quick poacher striker, and you're bringing in another really quick striker. I wasn't really too sure, but he did seem to fit in with the preseason squad. But then again, that is only preseason. Barcelona clearly weren't going to go, yep, all right, let's go 100% at it. He did fit in, and of course, because they finished first last season, they do have the Champions League to look forward to next season, and I think it's going to be extremely interesting to watch them in the Champions League, see how they go against big boys, like Barcelona, Real Madrid, Bayern Munich, PSG. They proved they could do it in England. Let's see if they can do it in all of Europe. Next, we have Liverpool. Of course, one of the clubs that's kind of been on a roller coaster in the most recent years. Of course, they almost finished first back in, I can't remember, when they had Luis Suarez, of course, who scored an amazing amount of goals. I think it was 30 plus in the end, wasn't it? And he missed out on the first 6 games because he ended up biting someone. This club has been an absolute roller coaster in recent years, as I just said. Let's repeat ourselves, why don't we? And now they find themselves with one of the most favoured managers in the world, Jurgen Klopp. Seems like such a good guy, such a good manager. He managed to bring Dortmund up. He only paid like, what, very little amount of money, and managed to make them one of the best teams in Germany and one of the best teams in Europe. Of course, they called Anfield their home. You'll never walk alone. Anfield, one of the most intimidating stadiums to go to in, I'd say, all of the world, really. Star player, you almost want to put Daniel Sturridge there, because Daniel Sturridge is a very good player, but he just gets injured so much, and you can't really rely on him anymore, I don't think. Just the amount of injuries that has put him out on the sideline is just insane. But besides that, I think Philippe Coutinho, absolutely brilliant. He's the Brazilian, he likes to sit behind the striker. He can play on the left, play on the right. He's got both feet. He can hit him from long range. He can dance in and around defenders. He's just absolutely brilliant, I think. One of the best players in the Premier League. And their signing of the season is, of course, Sadio Mane. They got him for £30 million from Southampton. Of course, that's a rough estimate of how much they paid. £30 million from Southampton. When I first heard this transfer, I was like, really? You're going to pay 30, 40 million pounds for Mane? I mean, I know he's good, but is he really worth that much? And look, his first performance against Barcelona, he played absolutely amazing. He played out of his skin. Of course, he played brilliantly last season at Southampton, but I didn't know if he would work at Liverpool. And he's proven me wrong already. And of course, it's only pre-season, so it's not like the end of it all, But yeah, he just seemed to fit in. And last season, they ended up finishing 8th, and so no Europe for them this season. I think they will be looking for Champions League finish, especially with no Europe to worry about. And I think, they might do it. We'll just have to wait and see, really. Manchester City, one of the clubs with so much pressure on them right now. So much pressure on them to perform, because they only finished 4th last season. Of course, that did secure Champions League, but really they'll be wanting more this season, and they have got one of the best, or who is renowned as one of the best managers in the world, Pep Guardiola. He will be managing the side at the Emirates, Etihad Stadium in Manchester, of course, and their star, Kevin De Bruyne. Of course, you can put Sergio Aguero as one of the stars, Yaya Toure maybe even, Joe Hart, but Kevin De Bruyne he is absolutely brilliant. One of my favourite players in the world. He's still young. He passes like a magician. He can shoot from long range with both feet. He's already established himself very well in the Belgium, or his national side, which is, of course, Belgium. I think he'll be an absolute star this season. Signing of the season from Borussia Dortmund, they got Gundogan, the central midfielder. They got him for about, £21 million, roughly, of course. And yeah, I think he'll fit in well in the centre of midfield, because Manchester City, of course, they've got Yaya Toure, but, he's been really, question marks all around him the past couple of years, especially after that whole birthday scandal where Man City didn't end up saying happy birthday, and there was a whole, oh, I want to leave. But I think he'll fit in well with that Man City squad, play alongside Toure. Of course, they've also got Fernando, Fabian Delph even. So I think he'll slip into their first team. And I should actually mention as well, John Stones, the English centre-back, 47.5 million. Excuse me. First they buy Raheem Sterling for 50 million, which was kind of like, whoa. But you could kind of be like, yeah, it's Man City. They got a lot of money. I guess that kind of makes sense, that transfer. And then John Stones for 47.5 million. I was just like, really? Like, he seems good, but that good? I'm sure Man City fans are hoping he's not another Mangala, because they bought Mangala for 40 million or something, and really hasn't performed. But I'm sure Pep Guardiola can get the best out of this squad, or at least he'll get a very good squad, because the players he's got as well. I didn't even mention David Silva. Of course, they got Sergio Aguero up front. I think they'll have a very good season.
Tell you the brief story of Ed, another good friend who's gonna turn up dead. You see, up in the hills, he lives a solitary existence, drowning business, thinking.
What are you talking?
Hey, see ya. I'm dead. I don't know what's happened.
I'm dead. Oh no, that's not the place.
He came to school this year for a smile on his face. Man, he tried and tried, but it was nothing but a blank space. Got him back in his feet. It was anger with the crew, then he played every one of us complete was so untrue. GHB by day, and Cones by night.